Have you ever noticed how black horses seem to carry an air of power? From a distance, you see their strong muscles, their dark coats gleaming under the sun, and you think of speed, of wildness, of untamed strength. But this story isn't about that kind of power. It's about a different kind of strength, one that's quiet, patient, and found in the most unexpected of places. Our story begins on a small, peaceful farm, tucked away from the noise of the world. Here, a black horse named Noir lived out his days in quiet contemplation. For many years, this was his life. Noir wasn't like the other horses who would gallop across the fields, their hooves thundering against the earth. He didn't race or show off. He preferred to stand still, his dark eyes watching the world go by, a silent observer of the changing seasons and the simple rhythms of farm life. He was a creature of stillness in a world that was always moving. One crisp autumn morning, everything changed. A small car pulled up the long, dusty driveway, and from it emerged a little boy named Adam. Adam was small for his age, with wide, curious eyes that seemed to take in everything and yet, at the same time, looked unsure of it all. The farm was a new world for him. The air smelled different, a mix of hay and earth. The sounds were strange, the distant lowing of a cow, the crow of a rooster, the rustle of leaves in the wind. It was all a bit overwhelming. Adam's parents were busy unpacking, but the boy, drawn by an invisible thread, wandered towards the old wooden fence that bordered Noir's pasture. He stood there, his small hands gripping the weathered wood, and just watched. Noir, standing in his usual spot under the shade of a large oak tree, didn't move. He didn't nicker a greeting or trot over to investigate the newcomer. He simply stood, returning the boy's gaze with a calm, steady presence. He waited. It was as if he understood that this small human needed space, that he needed to approach this new world on his own terms. The next morning, Adam returned. He climbed onto the lowest rail of the fence, swinging his little legs back and forth. He started to talk, his voice soft and hesitant at first, a gentle murmur carried on the breeze. He told Noir about his old home, about his favorite toys, about the things that made him happy and the things that made him a little sad. Noir didn't seem to mind the one-sided conversation. He just listened, his ears twitching slightly to catch every word. He remained at a distance, a dark, comforting silhouette against the green field. This became their daily ritual. Every morning, without fail, Adam would appear at the fence. He'd sit and talk, and Noir would stand and listen. The boy never tried to coax the horse closer, and the horse never made any sudden moves. There was an unspoken understanding between them, a respect for each other's space. Then one day, after weeks of these quiet meetings, something shifted. As Adam was telling a story about a dream he'd had, Noir took a step forward. It was just one slow, deliberate step, and then another. He wasn't led by a rope or tempted by a treat. He moved because he chose to. He walked slowly across the pasture until he was standing right in front of the small boy on the fence. Adam stopped talking, his breath catching in his throat. He looked at the massive, gentle creature before him. Slowly, cautiously, he reached out his small hand and placed it on Noir's powerful, dark neck. The horse's coat was warm and smooth beneath his touch. In response, Noir didn't flinch or pull away. Instead, he lowered his head just a little, a subtle gesture of acceptance, of trust. From that day on, their routine changed slightly. Adam would still sit on the fence, but Noir would stand beside him, his head often resting near the boy's shoulder as he spoke. There were no commands, no expectations. There was just presence. The simple, profound comfort of being together. Sometimes they wouldn't talk at all. They would just share the silence, watching the clouds drift across the sky or listening to the hum of the world around them. The seasons turned. The vibrant greens of summer faded into the fiery reds and golds of autumn, which then gave way to the quiet white of winter and finally burst forth again in the hopeful green of spring. Adam grew taller, his voice grew a little deeper, and his initial uncertainty about the farm melted away, replaced by a quiet confidence. Noir grew older, his movements a little slower, the silver hairs around his muzzle a little more pronounced. Their bond didn't need grand adventures or exciting rides. It was forged in the quiet moments, the shared sunrises, the patient listening, the gentle touch. It was a testament to the idea that sometimes the most powerful connections, the deepest bonds, aren't built on loud declarations or thrilling feats. They are built in the stillness, in the silence, and with an abundance of patience. It was a friendship that grew, one slow, deliberate step at a time. This story reminds us that strength isn't always about being the loudest or the fastest. True strength can be found in stillness, in patience, and in the quiet choice to connect with another soul. It is a beautiful reminder that the most meaningful relationships in our lives often don't need words to be understood. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this quiet moment with us. If this story touched your heart, please give it a like and consider subscribing for more stories that find beauty in the simple things. We'll see you next time.